107.5 WBLS, your number one source for R&B.
107.5 WBLS is Deja Vu. Been spending the afternoon with some of my favorite guys. We're talking BBD. We're talking the new Edition movie. And I want to know, were y'all just as wild as they portrayed? The actors, first and foremost, the actors were amazing. Y'all guys who played, you guys, they were so amazing. But I want to know, were y'all really that wild? And did you guys tell these stories yourselves? Or was this the creation of the writers from BET?
Yes, we were definitely that wild, kids from the projects. One of the reasons why we really got in the music business per se is because we loved the fact that when we went to concerts and we watched groups like the Untouchables and the Transitions and the Funk Effects, and they were really impactful in the city of Boston, Massachusetts, was the girls screaming, and the fact that, man, how can we get up there and command a crowd like that? So once we got a taste of that energy, that opened up a Pandora's box right there. So we were definitely wild like that come on, we like 14, 15 years old, and we got a room full of, 1,000, ladies, or even up to 17, 20,000 ladies. And we did a concert in D.C., in front of probably about back in the day when we used to do the 4th of July celebration with the Beach Boys and people like that, there was 1 million people in the audience. So imagine having your pick of the litter, of 1 million people, you know what I'm saying? So we were wilding out, whether it was with the ladies or smoking weed back in the day, and just
y'all had a whole little party going up in the room.
Yes,
we were like, wait a minute,
it was a real situation.
I mean, it was crazier than that.
Really everything.
Yeah, there was more we wanted to put in there that was just too much.
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah. Spill the tea, Ricky. Come on.
Y'all gotta wait for part 2, 3, and 4 of the joint.
4, 5, and 6.
But the movie is very authentic. Abdul Williams, who was the writer, and he sat down with us starting in, I want to say, maybe 2006. So this has been a long process in the making. Yes, so he sat down with us with the recorder collectively, individually, and not only did he get our perspective on ourselves, but he got the perspective of other people that had a lot to do with our success, whether that was Brooke Payne or Maurice Starr or Gerald Busby or our managers, Bill and Rick Dern, at the time. So there's a lot of people that were pivotal in allowing New Edition to reach the heights that we reached, that he interviewed as well. So the story was as authentic as possible. So it's real,
How come y'all was fighting so much? I didn't know it was so much, drama going on. Just, I guess, was it because you all were growing up, going through your hormonal changes, or was it just, did you feel the energy from the labels and the pressures of trying to compete against one another?
I mean, it's like, you're naive, you're just adolescent. There's a lot that you just don't know. I mean, and conflict resolution is not high on the list. So you spend a lot of time together.
Y'all spent a whole bunch of time together.
Yeah, I mean, so on the tour bus, the studio, rehearsals, and just, in life, I spend more time with these guys than I do my own family. And so naturally, we're just going to bump heads, and we fought over everything, whether it was what to wear on stage one night to over a chick or whatever. So, I mean, but in the hindsight, and, the blessing of it all and why we're able to tell this story, because there's redemption in all of it.
Love it.
We've come to a point in our life where we're able to accept each other just as we are, and put our differences aside and just realize that sometimes we can agree to just disagree.
We like project kids and brothers. Like, when we was fighting, it was frustration getting off.
Right.
Because sometimes we would fight and pray and go right on stage.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes. It wasn't like, I'm not going to speak to you for the rest of the day. No. Go over in the corner, wipe your face, get in this prayer circle, and we walk on stage. It was like it never happened.
Yeah. Was that the influence of Brooke that he had on you guys from starting it from the beginning to making that? Because we saw it in the movie, it looked like he had a lot of influence as far as, listen, y'all, there's no lead singers, y'all are a group. Did that continue on as you became teenagers, or
we was friends? Like, when we was fighting, Brooke wasn't there. It wasn't like he was breaking up fights. We would fight amongst ourselves or disagree or something, and we just we looked at it like we started this group by ourselves, and we all were personal friends. Like Ricky and Ralph ran together, me and Bob ran together. Then when Ron came in, So we have these relationships that go years back. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just another day to us.
It's a party in here. We
Yes.
got BBD. Mike done took over the whole thing, interviewing behind the
Mike
scenes.
is the interviewer right now.
He's like,
huh?
I'm reversing.
I just want to ask you 2 questions.
Okay, come on, give us the
So
questions.
let's go to the second question because that was a lot of energy.
Okay.
Now
Grab
that
a mic, grab a
now-
mic.
yeah, Now that the movie is over in our community, who do you think or we feel should be second to give us the next movie for our community?
Jodeci.
You're a Jodeci stalker.
Jodeci.
Boys to Men.
Boys to Men.
I would say I want to see Jodeci. I
Right.
do want to see Jodeci.
Okay, and we don't have Diddy and the Fam.
Oh,
Now,
that
we
would
don't, and we
be
don't
easy.
have to leave it. It's
Hold
not
up, we
just
got,
the
we got
R&B
what's your name
joint.
again? Drina, you gotta go.
Jodeci.
Jodeci.
Now, D, you gotta go.
I think Jodeci is still going through Jodeci, so
Right.
we need to wait for a few more years
right.
so we can
The
end on an
redemption
upbeat. I'm
is
just
right.
saying. But I think some people were saying online, like they would want to see the Run DMC story because we don't know a lot about them and all their drama and everything.
You know,
But
you know who I was saying in the car?
Who?
Initially, I said Jodeci, but then when I really thought about it, I was like, the Wu-Tang story would be crazy.
that would be
yo.
crazy. That would have that. You can't even do that that has to be a couple weeks.
That's what I'm saying. Like
So
mini series on the same level as New
Right.
Edition.
For
Yes.
me, it's Jodeci. I would like.
Really.
Yeah.
So, what made you guys do the TV movie route versus the theater movie?
One, like just the time, like we didn't want to have to reduce it down to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like and to be able to bring generations together.
Yes.
You know, and but just
Preach that, Ricky.
even
Come
the
on.
community, you know, like people having viewing parties. That's like people
Yes.
getting together, black people getting together, vibing, you know, having a good time, and that's like you can't pay for that.
Somebody said online, y'all made her. She's like, I haven't watched TV 3 nights in a row in forever.
Yeah.
Y'all
And
made
that's
her
what it
watch
was.
for
And
real.
You know what we first told them, D? We went to the movie meeting. We said we want to make the R&B roots. Would you guys give us 5 nights? We were really
That's
way over
dope.
our heads.
But that would have been dope.
'Cause
Though we still would have been
was,
watching.
Like Rick said, we wanted people to feel the way we felt when we was all in our mama's living room looking on the little 32,
Right.
watching the roots. And they said 5's a little stretch, but maybe we could work on 2. And we fought for 3.
Love it.
Because
Yeah.
the Temps did 2, right? The Jacksons did 2,
Jackson
right?
Jackson did
too.
too, yes.
So our goal was to say, can we just get one more so we could get into the individual stuff?
Right. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But before we get to that, can we talk about Can You Stand the Rain? That was one significant portion of the movie when Johnny was added in and somebody didn't tell somebody a little something, something. So break that down for us before we get into this song.
Who's that, Ron?
Who?
Oh, that's
Say
you.
what?
You pointed to you.
That's
Yeah,
cold.
somebody didn't tell somebody.
Hey, listen, I
Uh-huh.
spoke to Rizzo the other day, and we laughed at every scene in there because we enjoy going back and forth. And at that time, we was just, wilding, part of that project mentality. And if we would have just understood what he wanted to do and been, a little bit more involved in it, you have to understand now that we older.
Of course.
He rightfully so should have had his opportunity. And I know he feels like he could have really dealt with us a little different. But in hindsight, just like Bobby leaving helped him expand prerogative and make the group bigger, Johnny coming in gave us more years. So everything that seemed like it was an ill turn was actually the right move to make.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get into the song, y'all want to go ahead and introduce Can You Stand the Rain? Take us back. Take us back to that scenario, that time in part.
1988. The first song we recorded with Jam and Lewis in Minneapolis in the winter. Here it is, y'all. The first song Johnny Gill recorded with New Edition is Can You Stand the Rain.
On WBLS.
Come on,
Yes,
baby. Let's go
yes,
get
let 'em
wet.
know.
Always wanted to do that.
Ricky, before I go, I want to ask about the movie when you put your whole business out there.
Right.
What kind of mindset were you in when you said, okay, I'm ready to tell this story? Because that was a personal story that took a lot of us by shock. We didn't know any of the stuff because, of course, internet wasn't around like it
Right.
is now. So talk to us about your decision to share your story.
Well, when I was going through that, what was really big for me, what was a challenge for me is I got into a program and I would go to these meetings and I would hear all these guys share all their stories about why they were there. And I never heard my story. And so it was really hard for me to relate to everybody else that was going through that. And so for me to share my story, it was basically just to say, look, I get it and for somebody else that may be in the same position that I was in at the time and just not being able to relate. So I just shared it in hopes that it would inspire somebody and just bring them out of their loneliness, because I know there's somebody out there that's suffering that doesn't think anybody else would understand, or their story is so unique.
I know I saw on Twitter you were like, any questions or whatever after that, after
Right.
you did that. What was the response? What has the response been now since you did share it? Because I'm like, oh my gosh, it just gives you a whole new
Right.
love and acceptance of what you guys have gone through and your journey.
For the most part, it's been very positive. I put out a statement, I think it was just yesterday, and it's probably, I've never gotten more reaction or more likes or more reshares or whatever than I have with that particular post. So
That's
I
amazing.
really appreciate that. I don't take it for granted, and I'm glad that people really understood it, because I mean, I had that fear that, you know, of judgment, or you know, oh man, I thought it was the other guy and all of that, but all of that is wiped away, and I just really appreciate the response and the love I've been getting.
Yes. All right. So now that we got all that, what's up next for BBD? We got any more hits like Poison? That's a for real one that stays rocking the party. I know you got some stuff on Three Stripes. Talk to us about that and
Three
the tour.
Stripes, man, incredible album. We line it up song for song to Poison, and we feel like it's our best work. Excluding Poison, because we know that's a monster.
Listen.
And we embrace it and we love it. It's standing the test of time. It's the reason why, one of the reasons why we're here today, being able to perform and do what we love to do. But this album right here is our best work. 10 joints. We got SWV on here. We got Boys to Men on here. We got Dougie Fresh on here. Produced by Eric Sermon. Produced by KG from Naughty by Nature. Produced by Battle Cat and the whole West Coast Dre Aftermath crew. Produced by G1. You know, produced by, you know, written by, you know, this young cat out of Boston / Nigeria named Cyrus the Shields. It's our best work. You know, we're more talented than we were when we came out with Bell Biv DeVoe the first time. You know, our skills and everything that we're doing right now are not, I would say, at its peak, but they're the finest that they've been throughout our careers. You know, we follow Rick. He's in the not in the shower, but in the bathroom, you know, doing his vocal lessons. Myself and Mike out there chiming in like, all right, we got to get some of that. So
Right.
we don't take anything for granted. You know, we got some of the best fans on the planet, and we make sure we're stepping up to the plate, man. It's a beautiful thing. It's available now. You know, like you said, we want to get that next Poison. So we need people to buy that joint and go, you know, to bellbivdevoe.com, go to our social media pages and let us know what they think is the next single. You know what I'm saying?
Love
'Cause
it. And Mike,
it's
you
crazy.
still on the business tip? I saw on the album, I saw y'all had, was it your label? Is that an imprint that you guys are
It
doing?
sure is.
Yeah.
Okay,
mhm,
okay.
Yeah. We
I love it.
what we working out now is the new edition album that will be here, God willing, in 3 weeks. Is to be a compilation of the old music, and we actually gonna head to LA in a week and cut a new joint with all of us, so that you'll have a new joint by all of us, hopefully in 2-3 weeks.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
And part of the movie is some of the old music, the Candy Girl, that makes it the movie. We didn't really get paid off for that stuff. But the boss of the building called and said, look, we're going to fix that. So we'll be able to go from Candy Girl to the new joint, and we'll be able to pick up all
Are
that
you
old paper.
serious?
And it happened here on your show.
Listen, that is amazing. Y'all give them a round of applause. What? Give that money.
I would never be disrespectful to you to walk out of a room. And I just want to come back and apologize and say the only thing would make me walk out of here is something like that. So
Like
that's
what?
what made me step out.
Oh,
to take
because
the call.
that was the call that you had?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
I
Oh, so
wouldn't
that's
do
why you
that.
said it happened right here.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
I
We for
wouldn't
real
have
got
did
an
that.
exclusive, y'all. What?
Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't do stuff like that.
Okay, well, that's cool. I thought you just had to handle your business. I didn't know
Yeah.
you was handling business.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
round of applause, y'all, for
Yeah.
BBD. Look out for that new edition album, guys. Thank you so much. We love what you all are doing, and we wish you nothing but success on this next
And invite
album.
us back to this talk show.
Yes,
What's the name
please.
of the
Yeah,
show again?
right.
D and me and the girls?
Yeah.
The yin, the yang, and I didn't know.
Okay.
Then you got to do a homework. But keep inciting them riots. That's what I'm talking
She
about.
said, is Brooke a real person? That ain't Luke James.
Oh, Lord. All right, it's WBLS, y'all.